Welcome back, everybody. It's about that time. It is March Madness season, and today I'm going to be going over the best Cinderella teams for this 2025 March Madness bracket. We got about 2 days until they drop the Selection Sunday whole bracket reveal, and we'll officially have the bracket in our hands at that time, and we'll be able to make our picks. But before we get into it, let's go over some of the most recent Cinderella runs. In 2024, we had number 11 NC State making it all the way to the Final Four. That was behind DJ Burns and DJ Horn. Very, very fun run. The year before, we had number 9 FAU making it all the way to the Final Four. John L. Davis. That was when Dusty May was there. Now he's in Michigan. 2022, we had number 15 St. Peter's make it all the way to the Elite Eight. That is the furthest a 15 seed has ever made it in March. 2021, we had the first four to Final Four UCLA team with Jaime Jaquez and Johnny Juzang. That was a very fun run. They're not as much of a Cinderella, but being such a low seed and making it so far, it's close. It's just it. I'm including it. 2018 had number 11 Loyola Chicago also making it to the Final Four. That was a very, very historic run. Sister Jean, that was legendary. Getting straight in the list, we got UC San Diego at the first spot. It's not in any particular order. I just numbered them. It's. I don't think that they have the best odds, but they do have very good odds looking at their team. They allow 62 points per game, eighth in the nation. That is out of around over 300 teams. So that is very, very good. They have a plus 27 net rating. I think the highest on this list. They went 28-4, the first in the Big West. They have just a lot of 3-point efficiency. They just have very, very strong, very, very strong play style where it's centered around the 3-point ball, but they really just get in there. They're one of those teams that just has a lot of those white guys that just knock down 3-pointers, and they're just cooking the team that you picked to make it to the Final Four, and then boom, they get blown out in round one by these guys. But I would see it. They have very, very good wins behind them against Utah State, James Madison, and at that 12 seed line, I love picking the 12s over fives. I would go for UC San Diego this season. It depends on their matchup, but I would say out of any of them, they're probably the strongest. So it might not depend on the matchup. None of these 5 seeds this year look that great. Uh, well, I'll show the bracketology near the end, but um, it's really just it's really just we'll see on Sunday. And moving on, we got Akron 17-1 in the MAC. They have a plus 14 net rating. They also shoot a very high 3-point volume and efficiency. I think they take some of the 10th most threes in the nation, led behind Nate Johnson and Tavari Johnson. They got very good senior guard play at that backcourt. They have wins over Miami, over Kent State twice. They beat Omaha. Omaha is about to make it in the bracket as well, so that's an even better win. Looking back at it, their losses they've lost, but they've lost to mainly good teams. Arkansas State was very good, and that in the preseason they were projected to be good, and then that was I think near the beginning of the season. They lost to Yale, who's probably going to make it to the tournament this year as well. Lost St. Mary's. It's whatever. I have them at their projected 13 seed. What I did is I'm trying to give you guys a projected, like one of every projected seed. There's going to be a 12, there's going to be a 13, there might be a 14 or 15, and then there's going to be like an 8 or a 9 that I could see making a run. Moving on, let's see who we got next. McNeese State, this is the 12 seed. These guys were in their last year. They lost in that first round. I forgot who they were going against, but they have a similar team this year. They increased their depth a lot, but they lost Shahada Wells. He was great. But they replaced him. Sincere Parker has filled his role just as well. Javon Garcia's taken a step up. They got good guards. They still have Christian Shumate at that front court, leading the interior. And they have a lot of very, very solid role players off the bench that have transferred from, I think, all kinds of D1 Power 5 schools. Sorry, Kadir Copeland, I remember. Yes, was here. He was at Syracuse last year. Now he's on this team. They have Joe Charles, Brandon Murray, who was at I believe he's been everywhere at this point, LSU and Ole Miss. Um, but they're looking good, man. They went 19-1 in their conference. They have great wins over North Texas, Texas A&M, Corpus Christi. Their losses again, they're gonna lose games. South Dakota State, Liberty. They've took Alabama to a close game. They had Mississippi State, I think, at a fairly close game. They've competed with the good teams. They've played these teams before. They kind of know how they run. So if they get matched up against one of them again, it could be a good sight. Could definitely put on a good performance. Moving on, we have number 4, New Mexico. They have an NBA level star in Donovan Dent. I would be surprised if I don't see him on an NBA roster in the next 3 to 4 seasons. They're fast paced, got good size, especially with Nelly Joseph down there, averaging 13 and 12, just leading that interior. They have a plus 14.7 net rating. These guys were also in it last year. They were an 11 seed. I think they're going to be a little bit higher this year. And they, I think, came up short to Clemson. But this season, they just look like they have a more cohesive unit because last season they kind of didn't know who was running the show. They had more of just like 3 different ball dominant guys, and whoever was hot, and that's who would lead the game. But now with Donovan Dent with the full range in his hands, he's been taking it, and he's been running with it. 26-6, number 1 in the Mountain West. They have wins over UCLA, Colorado State, USC, Utah State twice, even beat VCU. They just have a very, very good resume. They've lost to teams like St. John's, Arizona State, but it's not that big of a deal in come March. They don't look at the losses. You look at the teams that you've beaten. Moving on, number 5, Montana. They have a very high field goal percentage. They have plus 5.8 net rating, low turnovers. This is one of those teams that I feel like they're projected to be low. They're projected to be a 15 seed. There's always one of those teams where it's either 16 or 15 in March that wins in the first round, and I just wanted to provide my take for who would probably be that team, and I don't see anyone better than Montana at this line. They have the makings of one of these teams with Money Williams being averaging 13.3 off the bench. They are very hot right now. I think they've won I believe 16 of their last games. It's something crazy like that. It's not 16 of the last games. I'm sorry. They were not 9-9. But they've just been on a very, very consistent hot streak recently. They just won the conference tournament, beating Northern Colorado. And out of any of them, I would just say this is kind of just throw in if you're risky enough to take Montana. It depends on the 2 seed that they go up against, but I would potentially throw it in there. You never know what could really happen. I have good hopes for Montana to make it out of the first round. And I will show you guys this bracket where all these rank up, and if their matchups kind of look like they could make it far in this tournament. Montana first, going up against Texas Tech so far in this bracketology. I think this was updated yesterday, I believe. Yeah. No, today. We have, yes, Montana going against Texas Tech. Texas Tech is probably the weakest 2 seed. Tennessee, Alabama, Michigan State. Yeah, Texas Tech is definitely the weakest 2 seed. But their size with JT Toppin, I don't know how it would match up against Montana. This is something, again, we'll just see when the brackets come out. There was also, who was it? New Mexico going against Marquette. Oh, and then having Auburn in the second round. See if they had like a Florida or having Auburn in the second round, that's not awful. If they have the size to match up, and they have the players to make a run. I don't know. This year might be more chalked. Might be more where we see the 1s and the 2s make it pretty far. But again, it's March. You never really know. Who else do we have? We had McNeese State. They're probably on the 12 line. Yeah, against BYU. That is a good matchup against them. BYU, yes, they're hot. I still just don't believe in this team at all. They never impressed me in March. They lost last year to Duquesne. They've never had significant success since Jimmer Fredette, and they don't have a Jimmer Fredette on this team. Next year when they have AJ, then maybe, but this season, no, I don't see it. UC San Diego going against Oregon. That's a solid matchup for them. Oregon has been pretty cold recently, I would say. They just lost to, I believe, Michigan State in the tournament, in the Big Ten tournament. They're not looking too hot, but it would still be iffy. I would honestly give it to UC San Diego. Right here, I would pick both of these 12 seeds. Both these 12 seeds, and then where's our guys? 13 seed Akron. Oh, Purdue. Ugh. That's a tough one. If it's Wisconsin, I would maybe take them. Who else? The fours over here. Maryland. I have good faith in Maryland. Against Purdue, I would probably avoid this, but if they get matchup against Wisconsin, I like Akron. And our last team. Oh no, that's all of them. All right. Well, that is all I have for you guys today. Best Cinderella teams for this March Madness tournament. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, and I will see you guys tomorrow for more March Madness updates.